After that emotionally heartbreaking loss yesterday against the Houston Astros, the Jays opened up a 4-game set at Rogers Center against the Boston Red Sox. And man, it was a back and forth game, a fast game at that. It was like 2.5 hours, not even that, and the game is over. It was an insanely quick game. But considering that I was trying to get to the Raptors game and not have to do the Instagram Live on Blue Jays Center while that was going on and late in the game like happened in Game 3, I was enjoying it. And also, Jose Barrios got the start for the Jays, and in the first inning, it just scared me a little bit. He was giving up long fly balls, long outs. However, it was scoreless after the first inning, and he did give up some hard contact, did get in some hairy situations early, right? A bases loaded, 1-out situation in the top half of the second inning, but he gets the ground ball back to him, goes home to first to the double play to end the inning, which was massive. And we fast forward because Nathan Eovaldi was really matching him pitch for pitch. Both guys had really low pitch counts. Both teams offensively were swinging at first pitches, swinging early in counts like crazy. And in the bottom half of the fifth inning, Nathan Eovaldi leaves a slider on the inner half. Or no, it was the other. Either way, he threw a slider to Lourdes Gurriel Jr. And we always hear about Lourdes being a really good off-speed hitter. Right? We've heard it so much. And the way he stayed back on this ball and stayed through it, right? He goes down and gets it and stays through the ball, gets barreled the baseball, and crushes to left field, and it's gone! And the Jays have taken the lead. It's now a 1-0 ball game in the bottom half of the fifth. The way Barrios is pitching right now, all right, we're feeling pretty confident. We move ahead to the bottom of the seventh, couple innings later. Matt Chapman comes up against Nathan Eovaldi, and he gets, I want to say it was a change. It was only 90 miles an hour because obviously Eovaldi throws 98, but it didn't have spin like a breaking ball, so I'm guessing it was a changeup from Eovaldi, but it was up in the zone, and Matt Chapman does not miss it. He belts it to left center field, and it's gone. The Jays are now up 2-0 in the bottom of the seventh. We're feeling pretty good. They throw out Barrios for the top half of the eighth inning. But the first two men reach, the 7 and the 8 hitter, which is tough to watch. And then they bring out Adam Simber, but then Kike Hernandez is an RBI single. Dalbec comes in to score, making it a 2-1 game. And then on a sac fly from Verdugo, Arroyo scores, and we're tied at 2. Not where you want to be if you're the Toronto Blue Jays late in this ballgame, especially all the tight games you've played lately. But we go to the bottom half of the 8th inning, and the Blue Jays get a couple base runners, right? Santiago Espinal gets on. Bradley Zimmer bunts himself on, right? Perfect bunt on the first baseline. Dalbec can't handle the throw from the pitcher at first. It should have been an out, but he dropped it, and we have 2 on. Then George Springer hits a rip single up the middle, but Espinal has to hold up enough to make sure it goes through. So now the bases are loaded, 1 out for Bo Bichette. Bo Bichette's getting all the slack in the world because of his defense. He's been, offensively, he hasn't quite hit his stride yet. But he comes up with the bases loaded and gets I want to say a fastball, but he was only throwing 90, 91. Maybe that's his fastball. I don't know. But either way, it was down the middle of the plate anyways. And Bo belts it to right field, and it's gone. A grand salami from Bo Bichette. Springer, Zimmer, and Espinal score. And the Blue Jays break it open. It's a 6-2. Jays lead 3 home runs in the ball game, and the boys are up 6-2. Jordan Romano was warming up with the bases loaded, but since they got the 4-run lead, he plops his rear end right in the bench. But you got to admit, though, if he had like a 3 or 4 day rest, he would have been in that game. Because he's been used so much, that grand slam is so big because you throw Julian Merriweather, gives up the leadoff double to Devers, but shuts the door, doesn't allow anything to cross, and the Jays win it 6-2. I talked about it in the last video, right? How a team who didn't play very good defense, right? Didn't pitch very well in the last game. You have a stinker like that on the road in Houston to end that series. But great teams find a way to bounce back. And defensively, you saw that today. Offensively, they got it done. They dropped the 6-piece on the Red Sox. They only allowed a couple runs there in that top half of the 8th inning. Barrios was great. Simber allowed the 1 hit, but he was decent overall. And Julian Merriweather shut the door pitching-wise. And defense, can we talk about Matt Chapman? Talk about Matt Chapman. You know that play I'm talking about? I can't remember what inning it was in. But it was a chopper to the third baseline. It stays fair, but he's falling out of bounds, right? He's falling out of play into foul ground. and he's on the run, basically heading to the dugout, but he fires it, and it looks like such an effortless toss for Matt Chapman, and it's right on the money to Vladdy. It's just a beautiful, knowing what this team, knowing what this Jays team and this fan base had to witness last year with the third base carousel of Breivik, Valera, Kevin Gausman. We know Santiago Espinal did a really good job when he was in there, but I know there's going to be some other guys who played third base last year that was just an absolute abomination. And now you're watching a Platinum Gold Glove winner just play third base like it's easy. And watching, I want to ask you guys, does the double play combination of Chapman, Espinal, and you could argue say Vladdy on the other side, but the Espinal Chapman, does that not remind you a lot of Josh Donaldson and Ryan Goins? How smooth both guys are defensively, right? You have the third baseman who's the better bat, even though Espinal's been great this year. But I don't know. It's very interesting how similar that situation is, and both guys have incredible gloves, and it's beautiful to watch those guys play defense. Right, Bo Bichette, he has the hiccups here and there defensively, but watching Espinal play is remarkable. Watching Chapman play defense is incredible. I love it right now. And the Jays, after that tough loss, they bounced back with a win against a divisional opponent to start the 4-game series with arguably their ace on the mound in Nathan Eovaldi. So I was really, really proud of these guys for battling and getting that big punch from Bo Bichette in that bottom of the 8th. Now, let's get to some player stats. Again, nothing crazy, but Jose Barrios, 7 innings pitched, 5 hits allowed, 2 runs, 4 Ks and 1 walk. He left the game when there was no runs allowed, but obviously the single from Hernandez and the sac fly, that was all against Adam Simber, but both of those runs were charged to Jose Barrios. I didn't think he was spot on, though. Like the line, look, he gave you a quality start, 7 innings and 2-run ball, no doubt. But if you watch the game, he did miss with quite a few pitches. I know one pitch that Kike Hernandez pulled foul into the third deck. It was a slider up, and it was like, oh my God, that's asking to be crushed. And then Verdugo hits one to the third deck down the right field line, but just foul. And I'm like, man, he's getting lucky here. And I think in the first inning, 2 balls went right to the warning track. So he was struggling early on. But, as the game did go along, he did settle himself down and was throwing a lot of quality strikes as the game went along. So he did a really good job kind of getting into it. He's still quite not there yet. But again, he went, couldn't get out of the first in his first start, went 5 innings in his second start, 6 innings in his third, and then went 7 today. So steps in the right direction for Jose Barrios. Adam Simber went an inning, allowed 1 hit. Unfortunately, those 2 runs came across the score, but again, didn't really matter, I guess, in the end. And Julian Merriweather, after that double to Rafael Devers, struck out a batter, nothing else doing, no runs, no walks. And Julian Merriweather, we're starting to see him feel himself again. Right, we saw when he first came up last year, we were all talking about him. He was pumping 99, pumping 100 at Yankee Stadium. We're like, oh, this guy's insane. Then he got hurt for the entire year, came back. The velocity wasn't quite there. To start this season, the velocity wasn't quite there. But we saw today, he touched 97, he touched 98, he touched 99. And that's when he's starting to feel himself. So it's really nice to see. And you didn't have to use Jordan Romano in this game. So that was really, really crucial for this Blue Jays team. Overall, the team, George Springer went 2 for 4. The run scored, 1 infield single, and then they single up the middle. Gurriel went 2 for 4 in the game with a run, scored an RBI on the home run that he hit, and his other hit was off another breaking ball that he pulled down the left field line for a double. So, again, those off-speed pitches for Gurriel, he's finding a way to crunch them. 10 hits overall for the Toronto Blue Jays, only 6 strikeouts, and pick up a W. The Jays are now 11-6 on the year, and they start another win streak. You gotta love it. Now, the pitching matchup, though, for tomorrow night's ball game is Nick Pivetta is pitching for the Boston Red Sox, and Kevin Gausman gets the ball for the Jays. It's a 7:07 first pitch there at Rogers Center. Look, the pitching matchup, pretty lopsided. That doesn't mean anything. You got to go out there and you got to do a job. If you go out there and win that game tomorrow, all the Jays need to do is win one of the next 2 games, and you win the series 3-1 against the Red Sox, right? So one day at a time. Enjoy the win tonight, Jays fans. But tomorrow, Pivetta takes on Gausman in Game 2 of the 4-game set against the Red Sox at Rogers Center, right? So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you enjoyed the video and enjoyed the game, this Well, it was evening, but it felt like afternoon because of when the damn game finished. Smack the like button. Do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button. You guys not already comment down below thoughts on the video, thoughts on the game. Would you like? Would you not like from today's game for the Toronto Blue Jays? The Twitter link is down below, so follow up. Send me a DM to that great stuff. The Instagram link is also down below, so follow up there if you guys have not done so already. And by the way, go check out the Blue Jays Center Instagram page because myself, Bree, Scott, and Brandon did the post-game show on there. So go check that out if you want to get more Jays content about this ball game tonight. All right, and I will talk to you guys Leafs Edition tomorrow night as they host the Detroit Red Wings, looking to clinch their spot in that number 2 seed for home ice in round 1 of the NHL playoffs. All right, and as for the Toronto Raptors, Game 6 between the Raps and the 76ers goes on Thursday night, 7 o'clock tip-off there as the Raptors, they look to win another basketball game and maybe force a Game 7. Wouldn't that be something? But no matter what, they force at least Game 6, which I'm so proud of them for that. But Game 6 goes at 7 o'clock on Thursday. And as for the Toronto Blue Jays, we talked about it. Their next game is tomorrow night, 7:07 first pitch at Rogers Center. Jays, Phillies. I don't know. As I'm thinking about Philly. Jays, Red Sox, Kevin Gausman is the pitching matchup there at Rogers Center. Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you enjoyed the video and the game tonight. We'll talk to you guys then.